Today, I want to share the story of a boy named Frederick Henry Royce, who faced numerous challenges in his life. He grew up in extreme poverty, so dire that it is hard to imagine. After losing his father at a young age, Henry had to support himself by selling newspapers. Despite these hardships, he went on to achieve remarkable success. Here is how his story unfolds. Rolls-Royce, the company behind the world's most luxurious cars, is a symbol of wealth and prestige, with the richest people dreaming of owning one. But what many do not know is that this iconic brand was founded by a boy who spent his childhood working in poverty to survive. The story begins in 1863, when Frederick Henry Royce was born on March 27th in the small village of Alwalton, Huntingdonshire, England. Henry Royce was the youngest of their 5 children. His father ran a flour mill which he leased from the ecclesiastical commissioners, but the business failed, and the family moved to London. At that time, Henry was just 4 years old, after his father's business collapsed, leaving the entire family destitute. They were forced onto the road, and this was only the beginning of their troubles. In 1872, when Henry was 9, tragedy struck again. He lost his father. To support the family, his mother took a job as a maid, and young Henry started delivering newspapers. His future seemed bleak, filled with uncertainty and hardship. However, at the age of 14, a turning point arrived. A relative, recognizing Henry's potential, decided to help. In 1878, with financial assistance from his aunt, Henry began an apprenticeship with the Great Northern Railway Company in Peterborough. For 3 years, he gained valuable experience, but eventually, the funds ran out. Determined to keep going, Henry briefly worked for a tool-making company in Leeds before moving back to London. There, he joined the Electric Light and Power Company, where he worked on street and theater lighting. By 1882, he had transferred to their Liverpool office, continuing to build his expertise in electrical engineering. In 1884, with just £20 in savings, Frederick Henry Royce partnered with his friend Ernest Claremont, who contributed £50. Together, they launched a small business in a workshop on Cook Street, Hume, Manchester, named F. H. Royce & Company, focusing on manufacturing domestic electric fittings. In 1893, Henry married with Minnie Punt. By 1894, the company had expanded its operations to producing dynamos and electric cranes, officially registering as a limited liability company. 5 years later, in 1899, it was restructured as Royce Limited and went public, opening a new factory in Trafford Park, Manchester. By 1900, the company's sales had surpassed £20,000. At 38, Henry had a stable family life, and plans were in motion to build a large factory. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. But in 1901, the situation took a sharp turn. German and American companies entered the British electronics market, driving up competition and pushing down prices. As a result, Henry's business began to collapse. The stress took a toll on his physical and mental health. Seeking medical advice, Henry was told he needed fresh air and was encouraged to travel to aid his recovery. To make traveling easier, he purchased a French-made car called the Decauville. However, the car was far from ideal. It was noisy, had ineffective brakes, and frequently overheated. For a perfectionist like Henry, this was unacceptable. Rather than settle for the car's shortcomings, he decided to make a few adjustments. Those minor modifications soon turned into a complete redesign. The improved version was far superior to the original Decauville, sparking an idea. Henry Royce realized he could build a car of his own and potentially start a car business. Motivated by this newfound confidence, he assembled a team to design his first car. After meticulous planning and production, the design began to take shape. His creation, a 10-horsepower, 2-cylinder car, was crafted with exceptional attention to detail. In terms of quietness, lightness, durability, and reliability, it outshined many vehicles of its time. On April 1, 1904, Henry Royce's newly designed car hit the road for its first test. It successfully covered 50 kilometers without any issues. Encouraged by this success, Royce built two more cars of the same model, rigorously testing and refining them until they met the highest standards. These vehicles were world-class in quality. However, while Henry Royce had the engineering brilliance to create exceptional cars, he lacked the resources and connections to bring them to a wider audience. This is where the second key figure in the story enters: Charles Rolls. At an exhibition where Royce was showcasing his cars, Charles Rolls took notice. A passionate motor enthusiast and a successful businessman, Rolls specialized in selling high-end automobiles. He had been searching for a British manufacturer capable of producing luxury cars. Intrigued by the cars on display, Rolls arranged a meeting with Henry Royce to take a closer look. Impressed by the craftsmanship and engineering, Rolls recognized Royce's exceptional talent. He even remarked to his business partner that he had found the world's greatest engineer. This meeting marked the beginning of a significant partnership. In 1904, Charles Rolls and Henry Royce joined forces to sell these remarkable vehicles under a new brand name, Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce believed that the best way to promote their cars was by competing in prestigious racing tournaments. They entered events like the Isle of Man races and the Tourist Trophy, where Rolls-Royce cars not only participated, but emerged victorious, setting numerous speed records in the process. These wins helped establish Rolls-Royce as a top-tier car manufacturer. However, their most iconic creation was yet to be unveiled. In late 1906, Rolls-Royce introduced a groundbreaking model with a 40 to 50 horsepower six-cylinder engine. Its body was painted in a sleek silver finish, and it was so smooth and silent that it earned the name Silver Ghost. To showcase its reliability, Rolls-Royce organized a rigorous endurance test, driving the Silver Ghost for an impressive 24,000 kilometers over a span of 2.5 months, with continuous driving day and night on Sundays. The car completed the test flawlessly without a single issue. In addition to the endurance test, Rolls-Royce held several public demonstrations, including the famous whisper test. In this test, they balanced a coin on the car's bonnet while it was in motion, proving the car's unparalleled smoothness as the coin remained steady without falling. These marketing strategies made the Silver Ghost an instant sensation, earning it the reputation of being the finest car in the world. It quickly became the vehicle of choice for royalty, nobility, and industry leaders of the time. The partnership between Charles Rolls and Henry Royce proved to be a masterstroke, propelling the brand to new heights of success. But just as Rolls-Royce was reaching its peak, tragedy struck. In addition to his passion for automobiles, Charles Rolls was deeply interested in aviation. On July 12, 1910, while flying a Wright Flyer aircraft, a structural failure caused the plane's tail section to break mid-flight. The plane crashed, and Charles Rolls lost his life. His untimely death left a profound impact on Rolls-Royce, and the company faced the challenge of moving forward while mourning the loss of one of its visionary founders. In 1911, another devastating challenge struck Rolls-Royce. Henry Royce's health began to deteriorate rapidly, and doctors diagnosed him with bowel cancer. He underwent a major operation, but even after the procedure, the prognosis was grim. They gave him only 3 months to live. Despite this, Royce continued to work on refining the design and engineering of the Silver Ghost. Then, something remarkable happened. Contrary to all expectations, Royce made a full recovery after a few months. Upon his return, he focused on making significant improvements to the Silver Ghost. Ground clearance was increased, the suspension system was enhanced, and the chassis was strengthened, making the car even more robust and reliable. Around this time, Rolls-Royce noticed a growing trend of car owners placing personalized mascots on their car bonnets. Some of these mascots were deemed inappropriate, and the company feared they could harm the prestigious image of Rolls-Royce. To protect their brand, they decided to design an official mascot. The result was the Spirit of Ecstasy, inspired by British actress Eleanor Thornton, who served as the model for the iconic emblem. This graceful figure became a symbol of Rolls-Royce's elegance and luxury. By 1913, the company was thriving, with profits exceeding £90,000 and plans to expand internationally. But just as Rolls-Royce was reaching new heights, disaster struck, the outbreak of World War I in 1914. The war caused a global economic downturn, severely affecting luxury car manufacturers like Rolls-Royce. Sales plummeted, and the company was forced to lay off employees. Many believed Rolls-Royce would not survive the crisis. However, Rolls-Royce had different plans for navigating through the turmoil. To adapt to the challenges of World War I, Rolls-Royce engaged with military authorities and quickly identified a critical need: reliable, high-performance vehicles for wartime use. In response, they modified the Silver Ghost, transforming it into an armored vehicle. The car's body was reinforced with 8mm thick armor, making it a durable and dependable option on the battlefield. Additionally, it became one of the best vehicles for transporting wounded soldiers. Many Silver Ghosts were converted into war ambulances, designed to carry stretchers, medical equipment, and nurses. To facilitate nighttime missions, electric lighting was installed. These ambulances saved thousands of lives during the war. Thanks to its luxury, durability, and reliability, the Silver Ghost was also used by high-ranking officers, diplomatic missions, and royal couriers throughout the conflict. While collaborating with the military, Rolls-Royce discovered another critical need. The British Air Force was heavily reliant on French companies for aircraft engines. The government was eager to find a domestic supplier for these engines, presenting a golden opportunity for Rolls-Royce. Determined to seize it, Henry Royce personally studied aero-engine design and, in 1915, introduced the company's first aircraft engine, the Eagle. This engine stood out for its superior reliability, lightweight construction, and fuel efficiency compared to its competitors. Impressed by its performance, the British Air Force ordered 500 Eagle engines by the end of the year. But Rolls-Royce didn't stop there. By the end of 1915, Rolls-Royce developed the Hawk engine for light aircraft. In 1916, they introduced a smaller version of the Eagle engine, called the Falcon, and in 1918, they created the Condor engine for larger, long-range aircraft. These engines gave Britain a significant edge in aerial combat, reconnaissance, anti-submarine warfare, and bombing missions, contributing to their eventual victory in World War I. Rolls-Royce's successful venture into aero-engine manufacturing proved to be a pivotal decision, and even today, the company's engines power thousands of commercial and military aircraft. After the war ended in 1918, Rolls-Royce continued to focus on both automobiles and aero engines. They introduced a more affordable car, the 20, but its sales were disappointing. By 1925, competition had grown fierce, with brands like Bentley, Delmar, and Cadillac entering the luxury car market. To stay competitive, Rolls-Royce needed a bold new vehicle. In response, they replaced the Silver Ghost with the Phantom, which featured improved performance and four-wheel brakes. The Phantom was a massive success, solidifying Rolls-Royce's dominance in the luxury car market once again. In 1931, Rolls-Royce acquired Bentley, which was on the brink of bankruptcy. Following this acquisition, Rolls-Royce designed the iconic Bentley 3.5-liter, a successful fusion of Rolls-Royce's luxury and Bentley's performance. However, Henry Royce never got to see this car, as he passed away on April 22, 1933, at the age of 70, just months before its production began. Since Henry Royce's death, Rolls-Royce has experienced many highs and lows. One of the notable models introduced by the company was the Rolls-Royce Ghost, a full-sized luxury car named in honor of the original Silver Ghost. The Ghost was first produced in 1906 and was reintroduced at the Auto Shanghai show in April 2009. The Ghost extended wheelbase was launched in 2011. During its development, it was known as the RR04. This new model was designed to be a more compact, practical alternative to the Phantom, aiming to appeal to a broader market segment with a more affordable price point for Rolls-Royce vehicles. Even after Henry Royce's passing, the Rolls-Royce company continued to thrive, holding on to its prestigious name and forging ahead. This is the story of Frederick Henry Royce, a boy born into poverty. Remember, It's not your fault if you're born poor, but if you die poor, that's on you. So, always keep in mind that you were born to soar and achieve greatness. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.